Hi there, welcome to fengshuiandprosper.com. It's Safrina Kadri, and today I am gonna give you some tips in terms of how to find the right feng shui consultant. Now, most of the time when my clients connect with me, I am not the first feng shui consultant that they've brought in. There's been many situations where, in previous years, they've had other consultants come in and they feel like, they maybe needed a little bit more of a boost. So sometimes they get a little bit confused because the information is a little bit different in terms of placement, in terms of what we feel is the energetic blueprint for that space. And most of the time it's because I'm a classical feng shui practitioner where, the way classical practitioners plot the energetic chart for a house is different from what we call the new age feng shui, where it's not as detailed, where it uses the door as the compass of the north direction or anything like that. That's new age. What we practice is classical feng shui, where it was done back in the olden days. I am the 6th generation disciple of the Tanyang Wu school of feng shui, and my ancestors, my feng shui ancestors, can be traced all the way back to China. So the way I do it is, it's tips, techniques that have been passed down, from generations to generations. So that's the textbook that I've studied under. But if you were to reach out to a feng shui consultant, there are 3 things that you need to ask them. The first question: do you use a feng shui lo pan? So this is my lo pan. Okay. It has all the directions, and the compass needle is right in the center here. So this is our tool as a practitioner. And if you're talking to if you're interviewing practitioners and then they don't use one, graciously move on to the next consultant, because 100% the recommendations that they give you will not be proper feng shui. So what we use the lo pan for is we take the direction of the facing of the building, and we take the direction at the front door. Sometimes the direction can be different from the actual facing. So those 2 are very important. And I myself, as well as other classical practitioners, we also measure the compass reading at the stove and at the foot of the bed to see what kind of directions they're facing and what direction you're facing when you're lying down and sleeping, which is very, very important. The second thing that you want to ask them is, do you ask for the birth dates for all the residences in the house? Some practitioners don't, and that doesn't make sense because every house interacts with each individual very differently. There's been situations where the house was really great for the wife, her career was climbing up and up and up and up, but the exact opposite was happening to the husband. Now, once it's been diagnosed, the problem, then you can remedy it. But you can't even diagnose that if you don't even take the birth date. Make sense? So that's also a very important thing to consider before you buy a house. Because the house could be great for the previous owner, because it may have interacted with them, perfectly in terms of elements and, and things like that. I don't want to go into the details. It's, to bog you down, but it's very important. So that's something that you want to make sure that the consultant also takes into consideration, because I always cross-reference my recommendations with, especially in terms of bedrooms, like, recommendations would differ depending on the chart for whoever is in that bedroom to a certain degree. So the third question that you also want to ask is, do you take the time factor into consideration when you're doing your feng shui audit? Now, science tells us that energy is constantly moving, right? It's never stagnant. And feng shui is all about the study of energy. So how would it make sense if you only do feng shui one time and hope that it's good for the next 20 years? It doesn't happen that way because energy moves daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, 20-year period based on Feng Shui. Now, the way I do my audits is I take a look at the based on the period that the residences are in that house. So that's one level of energetic blueprint. And then there's also recommendations based on the annual energy. So every year it starts shifting. And then on a monthly basis as well. It may feel like it's a lot of work, especially if you're following it on a monthly basis. But really, the ones that we watch out the most is, okay, on a month-to-month basis, where's the most afflicted areas? And you either use it less, keep it dark, or put certain remedies there to push down the affliction. Or if there's prosperous energy for that month, you want to be able to boost that up as well, and make your decisions based on that too. Just like how, if there's a prosperous energy in my bedroom as well as in my birth chart, I like to really boost up my my marketing strategies during those certain months. So I plan my year based on that. And so my clients have all that 3 levels of energetic blueprint. And that is something that you want to have as well, because you want a Feng Shui consultant that gives you the full picture and also educates you in terms of why certain spots are afflicted and why certain spots are not. You want to have that information and educate and empower yourself with more of the true Feng Shui knowledge. So just to recap, 3 questions that you need before you decide on a Feng Shui consultant. 1, do you use a Lopan? 2, do you ask us for our birth dates? 3, do you take into consideration the time dimension when you give me your audit reports? So that's going to help you differentiate the true practitioners and the not so great practitioners, which will most likely be a case of you wasting your time and wasting your money. Now, I know there are a lot of practitioners on the New Age side, and they're building their business based on that. I'm not here to persuade anyone that they're bad. It's just that being properly trained and having accountability in terms of lineage is very important. If there are other topics that you want me to cover in my videos, feel free to email me at safrina@fengshuiandprosper.com, and I'll get to them next time. In the meantime, you have a great one.